Many residents of the town gathered with lawn chairs on the day filming one particular scene in Night of the Living Dead. This was not a typical film shoot. Instead, it became a community event that drew attention from everyone nearby. The reason for this large turnout was the scene's significance and the unusual way it was shot. The filmmakers decided to set up the scene in a way that the townspeople could watch live as they filmed, creating a sense of community participation. As cameras rolled, people wanted to see how the horror was brought to life, and some even brought their own chairs to sit and observe comfortably. The town's residents saw this as a rare opportunity to be part of a major independent film, which was still a new and exciting experience in 1968. This collective interest turned what would normally be a quiet filming day into a small community gathering, making the scene even more memorable. Their presence and support contributed to the atmosphere of authenticity on set, and gave the film a special touch that still resonates today. Immediately, it is clear that Night of the Living Dead has had a significant impact on both film history and pop culture. Over the years, it has developed an extreme cult following, with many fans and filmmakers citing it as a major influence on the horror genre. The film is known for its striking black and white cinematography, which gives it a timeless and somewhat unsettling quality, enhancing the sense of dread and realism. Additionally, the movie features inventive camera angles that add to the suspense and create a sense of claustrophobia, making the audience feel as if they are right there with the characters. These artistic choices helped set the film apart from other horror movies of its time, showing that low-budget films could still be visually compelling and innovative. In terms of production costs, Night of the Living Dead was made on a very modest budget of about $114,000, which was considered low even for that era. Despite this, the film was a huge commercial success, grossing approximately $30 million, demonstrating that a well-made movie could reach a wide audience and generate substantial profits without a large budget. This financial success helped pave the way for independent filmmaking and showed that originality and creativity could triumph over higher costs. The film's lasting influence and its historical significance in shaping horror and independent cinema remain evident, with its bold visual style and storytelling still appreciated by new generations of viewers. Because of the interest in creating realistic zombies for the 1968 movie Night of the Living Dead, the writers initially called the undead ghouls and spent a lot of time brainstorming their behaviors. They wanted the zombies to act in shocking ways, especially focusing on the idea of cannibalism, which was central to the horror scene. To make the zombies look terrifying and convincing on screen, the filmmakers used creative methods for props and makeup. They used roasted ham covered in chocolate sauce to simulate dead bodies, giving them a decayed, gruesome look that appeared fresh, but decayed. The ham's texture and color helped create a believable corpse. For the blood effects, they used Bosco chocolate syrup, which added a thick, dark liquid that looked like real blood. This simple but effective idea made the zombies appear more frightening on screen, especially when they were attacking or wounded. The use of food products like ham and chocolate syrup was low cost but very effective, helping the film achieve its intense horror atmosphere. The makeup and props contributed a lot to the overall feel of the movie, making the zombies seem more real and terrifying to viewers. These creative choices helped make Night of the Living Dead a groundbreaking horror film with lasting influence on zombie movies and horror films in general. Without such resourcefulness in props and makeup, the film's creepy and shocking visuals might not have had the same impact. The combination of original ideas and practical effects played a key role in making the movie a classic. Because the filmmakers needed a suitable setting for their story, they used a farmhouse as the main location for Night of the Living Dead. This farmhouse was loaned by its owner, who actually planned to demolish it before the production. To prepare for filming, the crew cleaned up the entire farmhouse, beginning with the kitchen so they could have a clean place to eat and work. They made sure the house was safe and ready for the actors and crew to shoot many scenes there. The film was officially released on October 1, 1968, and became very popular. Interestingly, at that time, the movie was one of the last films in the United States to be shown without a rating. The new movie rating system was introduced in November 1968, just after the film's release, to help guide viewers, especially parents, about which movies were appropriate for different age groups. Before that, movies were often shown without any rating, which sometimes caused confusion or concern among audiences. Night of the Living Dead was made quickly and on a low budget, but it left a lasting impact on horror films and popular culture. Its success helped change the way movies were made and rated, shaping the future of the film industry. Since the cemetery scene for the movie Night of the Living Dead was shot in the isolated Evans City Cemetery, the filmmakers chose this location to avoid interruptions and disturbances. They wanted to capture the eerie and quiet atmosphere that would enhance the mood of the scene. The cemetery's remote location helped actors and crew work without distraction, providing a realistic backdrop for the opening moments of the film. Meanwhile, the basement scenes, which are crucial to the story's tension, were not filmed in the farmhouse itself, but rather in the basement of an editing studio located in downtown Pittsburgh. This choice of location allowed for better control over the filming environment and lighting. Interestingly, the first scene ever filmed for the movie was not the opening scene, but rather the last one shot. Filming began in November 1967, and the very first shot they captured was actually towards the end of the production process. This decision was likely due to logistical reasons or scheduling, but it created a unique filming order where the final scene in the movie was filmed first, and the opening scene was shot later in the schedule. Overall, these details about the cemetery and basement scenes, along with the filming schedule, highlight the careful planning and unique approach taken by the filmmakers to bring Night of the Living Dead to life. In the making of the 1968 movie Night of the Living Dead, the filmmakers relied heavily on music that was mostly from public domain sources and Capitol Records stock library. This allowed them to keep costs low, with the music expenses amounting to about $1,500. Using public domain music was a practical choice since it was free to use and helped save money for the production. Additionally, George Romero, the director, clarified an interesting detail about one of the scenes involving Barbara, a key character. He explained that the tombstone Barbara kneels in front of is a real tombstone. The reason for this was that the production did not have enough money to buy or create fake tombstones. Instead, they used an actual tombstone from a cemetery, which contributed to the movie's authentic and stark atmosphere. This decision added a realistic touch to the film and reflected the budget constraints the filmmakers faced. It also emphasizes how resourcefulness played a part in creating the film's haunting and realistic tone. These elements, from choosing the music to using real tombstones, helped shape Night of the Living Dead into the influential horror film it became. The combination of practical choices and creative decisions contributed to the overall gritty feeling that continues to captivate audiences even today. Initially, the film was planned under the working title Night of the Flesh Eaters, which suggested a story centered around extraterrestrial beings that would invade or threaten humanity. The filmmakers originally wanted to create a horror story involving these alien creatures, and the title reflected that idea, emphasizing flesh-eating aliens as the main focus. However, during the development process, they discovered that there was already a film made in 1964 called The Flesh Eaters. To avoid confusion, and to give their movie a more unique identity, they decided to change the title from Night of the Flesh Eaters to Night of the Living Dead. This new title shifted the focus from extraterrestrial threats to zombies, emphasizing a story about the dead coming back to life and causing chaos. The change was also strategic, as the title Night of the Living Dead became more memorable and better suited the film's themes of horror, death, and survival in a post-apocalyptic setting. The film was released in 1968 and became one of the most influential horror movies ever made, shaping the genre for decades. Its low-budget style, realistic acting, and social commentary made it stand out and contributed to its lasting impact. The title change was a small but important decision that helped the film find its identity and audience, and it remains a classic in horror history. After the release of the 1968 movie Night of the Living Dead, a significant issue arose regarding its copyright status. Because the filmmakers neglected to include a proper copyright notice on the film, it automatically fell into the public domain. This meant that anyone could copy, distribute, and show the movie without seeking permission or paying royalties. As a result, numerous unauthorized prints of the film appeared everywhere, making it difficult for the creators to control how and where their work was shown. The lack of copyright protection also meant that the film's profits were diminished, and it became widely accessible without restrictions. Meanwhile, the town where the filming took place reacted in a humorous and somewhat chaotic manner. People from the surrounding areas learned about the production, and some took the opportunity to visit the location. They showed up with lawn chairs, eager to watch the filming process or the movie screenings. Interestingly, many of these spectators expected to see something quite different from what was actually on screen. They anticipated the presence of nude zombies, perhaps influenced by rumors or the shock value associated with horror films. Instead, what they encountered was a low-budget horror movie that had become a surprise hit, but often with the crowd waiting for something more sensational. The town's reaction reflected how the film drew curiosity and interest from the local community, even if their expectations were somewhat mismatched with the actual content. This combination of copyright oversight and enthusiastic local spectators contributed to the unique history of Night of the Living Dead, shaping its legacy in the horror genre. In the 1968 movie Night of the Living Dead, there was a notable scene involving a nude zombie. Interestingly, this zombie was only nude in that particular scene. In other parts of the film, she was shown clothed. This character was later identified as Carol Wayne. Her appearance as a nude zombie added a shocking element to the movie, which was known for its groundbreaking and unsettling portrayal of the undead. Meanwhile, the film's production faced an unexpected problem during the cemetery scenes. The car used in these scenes belonged to Russell Striner's mother, and unfortunately, it got damaged during filming. This accident forced the filmmakers, including director George Romero, to rewrite parts of the scene. As a result, some changes had to be made to fit the new situation, affecting how the cemetery scene was eventually shown. The combination of these incidents, the nude zombie portrayal, and the car accident involving Striner's mother's vehicle, contributed to the unique and memorable aspects of the film. Romero's ability to adapt to these problems without losing the film's intensity helped make Night of the Living Dead a classic in horror history. Since its debut, the movie Night of the Living Dead made a strong impression, starting with its world premiere at the Fulton Theater in Pittsburgh on October 1, 1968. The audience responded with a standing ovation, showing how much they appreciated the film despite its dark and frightening story. At that time, many viewers were surprised by the graphic scenes of gore and violence, which led to some critics criticizing the movie for being too brutal or shocking. However, over the years, the film's reputation grew, and it became recognized as a classic piece of low-budget filmmaking. Its success helped shape the horror genre and set new standards for movies about zombies. The film was made with limited money, but its creative use of practical effects and intense storytelling made it stand out. Many people still talk about Night of the Living Dead as a groundbreaking film that changed how horror movies are made and watched. It influenced other filmmakers and inspired countless zombie stories in movies, TV shows, and books. Today, it is remembered as a significant and influential film that started a whole new type of horror entertainment and remains popular among fans. Its initial audience response, combined with its lasting impact, shows how one movie can leave a lasting mark. Even after many years, Night of the Living Dead continues to be seen as a beloved classic, inspiring new generations of filmmakers and horror fans alike. The 1968 film Night of the Living Dead stands as a remarkable milestone in horror cinema, distinguished not only by its pioneering approach to the zombie genre, but also by its independent spirit and innovative filmmaking. This film was the first major project by George A. Romero, whose vision and determination elevated it beyond a mere fright flick to a cultural phenomenon that has influenced countless movies to follow. The production was notably a collaborative effort among friends and relatively inexperienced filmmakers, which contributed to its gritty, authentic feel. Unlike traditional Hollywood productions, the film exudes a raw energy and a sense of improvisation that feels both refreshing and unsettling. The casting process further emphasized this point, as many of the actors seemed to have known each other beforehand, which lent a natural chemistry to their interactions. This intimate dynamic, combined with striking cinematography and effective use of suspenseful, spooky effects, created a tense atmosphere that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. Visually, the film's technical execution stands out. The camera work is deliberately unpolished, yet highly effective, contributing to the sense of realism that permeates the story. Despite the modest budget, Romero and his team managed to craft memorable scenes with chilling effects that still resonate today. The film structure markedly emphasizes its opening and closing sequences, which deliver potent moments of fear and tension. The middle portion of the film, featuring various characters thrown together in a confined space, offers a deeper exploration of human nature under extreme stress. Here, the narrative tends more toward human interest, contrasting starkly with the horror of the beginning and end, and revealing the diversity and complexity of the characters' reactions to the crisis. One of the most notable aspects of Night of the Living Dead is its casting of African-American actor Dwayne Jones in the pivotal role of Ben. At a time when racial tensions were very high in America, this decision was significant and, by many accounts, a welcoming and positive representation of heroism regardless of race. Jones's performance is compelling and dignified, highlighting Romero's subtle social commentary and his commitment to portraying a more inclusive perspective, even if the film itself is often rated as more straightforward horror. While some viewers interpret potential subtext about societal breakdown or racial issues, Romero has suggested that the film's primary intent was to create an effective horror film rather than embed a specific political message. Critics and audiences alike have recognized Night of the Living Dead as a trailblazer for its technical achievements and storytelling innovation. It does not rely heavily on gore like many modern horror films, but instead uses atmosphere, timing, and suggestion to evoke fear. Its success is partly attributable to the way it manages to combine horror with a sense of realism, making the terror feel closer and more immediate. This approach has helped Romero etch out an identity for zombie films that diverges from the vampiric or supernatural horror of previous eras, influencing a wide range of genre productions that followed. Interestingly, despite its chaotic beginnings in independent filmmaking, the film has an almost mythic quality today, often being hailed as a testament to what can be achieved through passion and ingenuity rather than big-budget resources. Some viewers find its depiction of human conflict and survival tactics particularly compelling, while others may focus on its social implications or the raw emotion conveyed through the performances. In conclusion, Night of the Living Dead is a groundbreaking horror film that blends technical craftsmanship, social commentary, and visceral fear into a cohesive and powerful work. Its success lies not only in its originality and craft, but also in its ability to resonate on multiple levels, offering scares, insights, and a stark reminder of the fragility of society. Romero's first film proved that a group of dedicated, talented amateurs could produce something that outshines many polished Hollywood productions and left an indelible mark on the genre. Whether regarded solely as a horror classic or studied for its deeper themes, the film remains a vital and influential piece of cinematic history, demonstrating that sometimes the most effective stories come from the most modest beginnings. As the dust settles from the chaos and horror of Night of the Living Dead, we shift our focus to the untold stories behind the camera. What became of the cast who brought this iconic film to life? In this bonus segment, we'll dive into the lives of the actors and explore the unexpected paths their careers took after the groundbreaking success of this cult classic. Some faced struggles, while others found new opportunities in the spotlight. The twists and turns of their journeys are just as captivating as the film itself. Stay tuned as we uncover the real-life stories behind the faces of the undead. In the 1968 film Night of the Living Dead, George Romero appeared briefly as a Washington reporter. His role was small but impactful, capturing the chaos and tension of the story through his portrayal of a journalist reporting on the unfolding catastrophe. This appearance marked Romero's entry into the horror genre, predating his legendary work as a director. Romero's career soon became defined by his groundbreaking films that redefined horror, especially with Night of the Living Dead itself, which challenged social norms and introduced zombies as symbols of consumerism and societal collapse. Beyond filmmaking, Romero's life was marked by personal struggles and controversies. He endured tough financial times, battling to gain recognition in a field often dismissive of horror. Rumors circulated about disputes within his team, and allegations of creative conflicts that cast shadows over his achievements. Romero faced health issues later in life, battling cancer discreetly before passing away in 2017. The last known information about him reveals a man haunted by his own creative demons, yet forever etched into film history for his visionary impact. His legacy remains a dark, influential force in horror and independent cinema. Night of the Living Dead, released in 1968, is a film that changed horror forever. It introduced the world to the modern zombie story and set the standard for many future movies in the genre. The film's stark black and white visuals, intense storytelling, and social commentary made it a landmark in cinema history. The cast, led by Dwayne Jones, faced significant challenges, especially considering the racial themes woven into the story. Many of them found their lives forever impacted by this film, whether through newfound fame or personal struggles. Despite its low budget, the movie's powerful message and groundbreaking approach turned it into a classic that still echoes today. It's a movie that has continued to inspire countless filmmakers and horror fans alike. If you saw Night of the Living Dead in your childhood, you probably remember feeling both scared and fascinated by its story and characters. What memories do you have connecting to this film? Did it scare you or provoke questions about society? Share your stories in the comments below. Night of the Living Dead remains a timeless piece of horror history that keeps living on in our